Welcome everyone to Monza for the 13th round of the 2011 GP4 Offline Championship here for the Italian Grand Prix. I am your host George Roke and welcome to Monza. So we will first go through the race rating and the driver of the day for Belgium. So the race rating was given a 6.4 out of 10 and the driver of the day was given to Jay McKenzie, who took his best finish of the season in 4th place. Some team news for this week, also one not included on the graphic before that, is that Florian Volker will stay at Red Bull for 2012, and probably not surprising, Ferrari will keep both Weishuber and Joseph Willis for next year, but they are looking for a new test driver as Mario Rossi will not be retained by Ferrari for next season. So we're here for the 13th round Italy, which has hosted the 13th round, I should say, which has hosted some really good races, such as 2008, where Nicolas Gal took his first victory in the OC, surprisingly with Toro Rosso after a wet qualifying. But this qualifying was dry, so we shall see if the race will remain dry as well. We've got some famous corners, got the Ascari, Lesmos, and of course the first chicane. But here is the grid for the Italian Grand Prix. It is Joseph Willows on pole with Florian Volker in 2nd place. 3rd place is James Willows, followed by Evan Byrne. James Willows, who won the last time out in Spa. 5th place is Alex Sesek, followed by George Roke, a better qualifying from the British one, in 6th place. 7th place is Waze Cooper, followed by Viggo Holst in 8th. As we move on to the 5th row of the grid, it is the other Force India of Roland Moitin, followed by Amar Khan, a good qualifying from the British driver there, in 10th place. And as we move on to the 6th row of the grid, in 11th we have Rifki Fark-Razane and Nicolas Gal, who is in 12th place. Not a particularly good qualifying from the Hungarian driver there, so he'll hope for better when the race comes. As we now move on to the 7th row of the grid, in 13th place is Felix Sontag, not the best qualifying that he would have wanted, and Robert Ionescu in 14th. For Toro Rosso, a driver who is noted to have said he wants to try and aim for the Red Bull seat in the near future, possibly, but he doesn't know if he'll get it, depending on the bad luck that he's having at the moment is going to continue or not. As we move on to 15th place, Adam Wolff, and 16th place, Lucas Levi. 17th place, Sam Thompson, and 18th place, Roman Quagg. 19th place is Jamie McKenzie, not a good qualifying from him. 20th is Michael Mocho. Now, on the last row of the grid is Sean Grant and Xavier Quinlan, the two Virgin drivers. So that is the grid for the Italian Grand Prix, and we will now move on to the weather. Let's see if that will be dry for the race, and the answer is... So you can see bright sunshine. The wet weather that has taken its toll across Europe did not come in last time out in Spa, surprisingly enough, for the race anyway, but it will not be here in Italy, so it will be bone dry for this, so this should be a very, very fascinating race indeed. James Willows, who won last time out at Spa to make it 2 consecutive wins. No one has won 3 races this season. Can he make it 3 in a row? We shall see. But it is his brother Joe that is on pole. As the lights are about to go on, we have the old lighting system for once. We now have 3 lights, 4 lights, and we now move on to 5 lights. And we're underway here at Monza, and Joseph Willis gets a decent start, it looks like, and he's going to take the lead as they head towards the first chicane. And at the moment, it looks like Volker's going to get overtaken by Joseph Willis' brother James as they head into the first corner. Is there going to be any collisions? It's going to be very tight coming into here, but Joseph Willis takes the lead, goes a little bit wide, but he still keeps it as they head out. But it looks like it is James Willis who's moved ahead of his teammate Volker for 2nd place, and there has been a collision, and Xavier Quinlan is out. Xavier Quinlan is out of the race, and he goes into the wall, and there's a Lotus missing his front wing, and Lucas Levi's out as well, and his car is in a pretty mangled state there, right in the middle of the chicane. But Roman Quagg has once again been involved, but Lucas Levi is out, and so is Xavier Quinlan. So there has been an incident at the first corner, and there's a Williams there missing its front and rear wing. That is, who is that? That is Sam Thompson that's missing a lot of his car. But at the moment, it is still James Willis up front, but James Willis is close to right behind him as McKenzie now tries to get past all these guys. But now James Willis is right behind his brother Joe to head down the straight. But let's have a look what happened at the first corner. So who caused the accident? So Levi, who is running in 17th, unfortunately his season goes from bad to worse. So he made an okay start, not a brilliant one though, as he gets overtaken there by Sam Thompson on the right-hand side. So he drops a 70, so he is behind the 2 Williams and alongside the Toro Rosso there. And, he gets hit from behind us, Levi. He certainly gets hit from behind there. Who was it by? Was it by Quinlan? It looks like it probably was, unless it was Quagg. And would you believe it? Of course it would be. Roman Quagg once again causes another incident at the first corner. One of the Lotus drivers does it again. I really don't know what is going on. The magnets on their car are super, super strong. You can see he was behind Levi, and for some reason he just didn't stop. I mean, he just didn't see Levi and the rest of them in front of him just slowing down there. And Quinlan, unfortunately, had absolutely nowhere to go, caught him completely unawares, and Levi's car just stopped right in the middle of the track there. Lucky that he didn't take any out, do a Lietzi from real life 2011. Robert Ionescu there sneaks through all the carnage, but once again, Roman Quark and Lotus involved in another incident. They'll be so glad probably when it's the end of the season. And we'll see if the two drivers, both Quark and Macho, stay at the team. So we shall see. But that is a big incident in the first corner. Already 2 cars out. It was to be expected. We probably should have assumed this was going to happen. There's always carnage at the first chicane as the cars come through the 2 Lesmos. But James Willis, who was right behind his brother John. Oh, there was another crash. And there was another car off. And Robert Ionescu was involved again. And Sam Thompson is now out as well. And Robert Ionescu, unfortunately, his bad luck continues. Commentator's curse there. But Sam Thompson is out, and that is 3 cars out on the first lap. So I just saw he was coming through the second Lesmo, and there was a collision there. So Sam Thompson obviously had lost, obviously the front and back wing, and as he was coming through, and I mean, you could say probably Thompson just came right in front of Robert there, Robert Ionescu there, and didn't really have anywhere to go. So I suppose that was a bit unfortunate there for Ionescu, but it was a stupid move by Thompson. I mean, he should have known that Ionescu was coming on his inside there and that he had a damaged car, but now his race is over, and unfortunately it has ruined Ionescu's race as well. Not the race that Ionescu would have wanted if he wants to get a higher seat for next season. But that is Sam Thompson out of the race. So 3 cars out. What a dramatic start it's been. And James Willis has taken the lead. He's passed Joseph Willis, his brother, coming into the Ascari chicane, and he made a pretty good move there. James Willis is on form, and he goes wide there. Joseph Willis as he comes through there. That was nearly an instant there, but now Volker's right behind, Evan Byrne is right behind, George Roke's right behind, Waze Kuwa is also behind. There's a big gaggle of cars, and it's nearly 3 wide as Roke's now trying to get on the inside. There's almost contact as Kuwa's trying to get on the inside of Roke, and Southgate's there involved as well. But now he's holding on, is James Willis from, sorry, not James Willis, Florian Volker, sorry, holding on from Byrne and Roke behind him, with Southgate behind him as well. Now Evan Byrne makes the move side by side with Volker coming down the straight. George Roke also getting in the slipstream as well. He now moves to the inside of the Red Bull as they come into the chicane. The yellow flag is still out, and as we come through, there was contact there, and Byrne has gone wide, and he almost goes into the Sauber, and Roke tries to go around the outside, and he doesn't. It's very tight, and there's a collision, and Roke's out, and there's a force senior involved, and that is Roland Moitin. It was always going to happen. You could see there was just something had to give there. It was just getting so tight and so close. And unfortunately for Roke, he is out of the race after what was a great qualifying, and Roland Moitin is out as well. It was just getting so tightly packed. Let's have a look again. So let's go on board with Roke. So Volker was battling with Evan Byrne as they were coming into the first chicane. And Byrne was on the inside, but there was contact after Byrne had overtaken him because he'd had the straight line speed. And you can see actually that Byrne actually did interestingly overtake actually before the yellow flag was. But we'll see if he does get a penalty for that or not. But let's see what happens. So Roke was on the inside. There was contact made between Volker and Byrne, and Roke tried to go around the outside. He didn't really have any room because Volker went wide around the corner himself. And then Roke unfortunately kind of got hung out on the outside and he got hit by Moitin coming through here. And I mean, I think you can't really say. You probably wonder why Roke maybe went that slow, but he had to avoid the slow car had to avoid Volker hitting him. But unfortunately for Roke, he's been hit from behind by Roland Moitin there. So very unfortunate there. So we've got 5 cars out. We've only been 2 laps. Imagine how many cars are going to finish before the end of the race. And now Jay McKenzie, who's now overtaking Michael Mocho. And did he overtake before the yellow flag? So he tried to, but. You can see what happened. So, and Mocho actually went wide into the chicane there. So I didn't see. There was actually contact. I hadn't actually seen that, but Michael Mocho once again getting into a spot of bother. As now there's a battle here for 7th place, and now Volker, who's trying to get past guys of Roman. So let's have a look again. So Evan Byrne got in front, but Volker probably didn't expect it. There was contact there, which pushed Byrne wide into the first chicane, and Volker had to go right round the outside, and Roke just didn't really have anywhere to go and had to avoid contact. Had to slow down a fair bit, and that caught out Moitin by surprise. The battle's still going on, so I don't know who's actually going to be in 3rd place at the end of the chicane. Kuba's in 5th, and no, there's not, and Byrne's out, and Volker's out. The 2 title rivals are taking each other out. That is going to be fantastic news for the Willows brothers, and Volker and Byrne are taking each other out, coming into the 2nd chicane. What a dramatic start. That's 7 cars out in just 2 laps. What a race we are having here at the moment. So what has happened? That you could see that something was going to give at the first chicane, and it continued onto the 2nd. So what happened there? So Volker dropped down to 6th, and Waze Kuwa had actually got past him, and Southgate was also getting past as well, past Evan Byrne. So it was essentially 2 wide, and Kuwa just cuts in front of Volker there. So how was their contact? So Southgate was on the inside of Byrne, and then Volker tried to make a lunging move past Kuwa, and just made contact with Byrne there. he made the move, which, I mean, you could say was there, but it was a bit of a dive bomb, you could say, and unfortunately for Volker, that has cost himself and Byrne, well, at least not cost Byrne the championship, but cost him a chance at the championship. It gives a chance for both Williams brothers to catch up in the standings. What a dramatic start we've had so far. My goodness, we need to catch our breath after that. Whew, there we go. My breath has now been caught. And wow, that has been a dramatic start. And now here we are on board with Nicolas Gal, who is right behind Waze Kuba as he now comes through the Ascari chicane onto the back straight, heading towards the Parabolica. 320 kilometers an hour is going now, over 330s. He's now on the inside of Kuba, and he'll take P4 coming into the Parabolica, and he moves up into 4th place. Kuba down to 5th, not what he would have wanted if he wants to try and have a hope of staying in the title race, but I don't think he's particularly in it. But James Willer's currently in the lead. His brother Joe in 2nd. It's all going James Willer's way at the moment. He's won 2 in a row. Can he win 3 in a row? Now Waze Kuba is now trying to stick behind 340 kilometers an hour. Felix Sontag has actually got all the way up to 7th place with a great start by him, having been stuck in the early chaos, and now he's behind Rifki Parkazane, who's also made a good start thanks to all the chaos that has occurred. So let's see if Sontag's going to make through. He's right behind Parkazane as they head towards the first chicane before the 2 Lesmos, and now Sontag's going to go on the inside. Does Parkazane decide to defend, but he doesn't, and Sontag's going to make a pretty easy move there, and he moves into 6th place. There was nearly contact, but he makes the move comfortably just before they head towards the first of the 2 Lesmos, as Sontag heads into the first Lesmo, as Parkazane stays behind him, but it looks like he is dropping him already, so the pace of Sontag looks pretty good at the moment. But now here we are on board with Nicolas Gal, who's already caught up to Alex Southgate in 3rd place. Southgate, who made a great start after the chaos that ensued at the front in the first couple of laps, but now Gal is right behind. He's going to make a move coming into the 2nd chicane into Rogier, and is he on the inside? And he is, and he's going to make the move stick, is he? And he does indeed. Southgate goes a bit wide there. It's going to compromise his exit, and now Waze Kuba is going to be right behind. He's going to try and make a move into the first Lesmo, and he is going to make it. He goes right on the inside, and Southgate has been caught out there as Kuba makes the move into the first Lesmo, and now Felix Sontag is also catching up to Southgate. So what a race Sontag, I should say, is having at the moment, but it was a good race for Southgate until those 2 overtakes on him. As we now head on to lap 6, and now this is a battle for 3rd, so Kuba is actually caught back up to Gal as the 2 Williams brothers have dropped them by 10 seconds. They're so far out in front at the moment. And now on the inside is Kuba. He's trying to make it stick, but Gal defends, and Kuba's going to be on the inside, and there's contact. And Kuba, they both stay on the track, but now Southgate and Sontag are going to be right behind them, and now Sontag's going to make a move past Southgate, and he's going to try and make a move past Kuba as well. What a move by Sontag, but now Southgate's going to try and follow him, and Sontag could take 2 positions here. He could take P4 coming into the Rogier chicane, and what a move it was by Sontag. Unfortunately, Byrne and Gal, and Kuba caught themselves out, and now Kuba goes a bit wide. Will Southgate go running outside? And yes, he does, but Kuba's got the line coming into the first Lesmo, and now Rifki Parkazane is right behind them as well. It's still side by side, Southgate just about keeping it round the outside, but surely Kuba's got the line coming into the 2nd Lesmo. And no, he doesn't. Southgate keeps it round the outside, but Kuba's compromised his exit, and now Rifki Parkazane is right behind as well. But what great battling it is! What a start we've had at the Italian Grand Prix. But let's go on board with Sontag. So there was the 2. They were lifted up in the air, was Kuba, and they came right back on the track, right in front of the 2 Mercedes. They got a bad run out of it. Sontag got past Southgate, and he had such a good run. He also got past Kuba as well, as Gal had made the move into 3rd place, as Sontag was on the inside of Kuba as they came into the Rogier chicane. So he was on the inside, but then Southgate was also right behind, and he managed to keep it round the outside of Kuba, and he actually made the move stick. So I thought that Kuba still had it coming into the first Lesmo, but he didn't, so it was around the outside, and Southgate kept his foot to the floor. It was very, very close, and I thought Kuba would have it here, but he actually backed off and let him in. Wasn't confident enough to go round there, but now Kuba's got Rifki Parkazane right behind, who is now attacking him already down the straight. And now he's probably going to attack him into the Ascari chicane. He's going to be right behind him. He's got the slipstream over 330 kilometers an hour, and he's on the inside of Parkazane, but Kuba really, really defends. He does not want him getting past. But oh, Kuba spins out trying to defend from Parkazane. Parkazane absolutely sells him a dummy there, and Kuba goes off the track. That was a pretty nice bit of driving there by Parkazane. He just went right to the left, did a little bit of a dummy, and then just fooled him, and Kuba just went spinning there. I have to say that was pretty good thinking there from Parkazane, but Kuba is well, he's not out the race, I should say. He's still going, but he's dropped a whole number of positions, and that has surely cost him a chance. Well, it's now cost him a chance of the race as he goes into the wall, so he is now out of the Grand Prix. As now here is a battle for 7th place between Viggo Holst and Armar Carr, and also Adam Wolf right behind, and also Jay McKenzie and the Virgin of Sean Grant. So a nice battle here for 8th place. McKenzie, who obviously was at the back and got involved in that collision at the first corner. No damage, but he got held up quite significantly, and he's stuck here in this battle, but Sean Grant might have a chance to get some points here if it keeps on going with all the cars retiring as it is, as Miklos Gal sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:21.772, and now Grant makes a move on the inside of Mackenzie coming down the straight, but he's not going to have enough power, and he actually backs off, but he's still going to have the slipstream over 350 kilometers an hour, well over 220, probably even 230 reaching, and Sean Grant makes a move on the inside, as he's going to make a move on the inside of the Williams as well, and somehow they've avoided contact, but Grant is going to make the move past Mackenzie. Wow, wow, wow. I don't know how any of those four didn't make any contact there, but Grant makes a fantastic move and gets past Mackenzie there, coming into the first chicane, as now here is Miklos Gal, who's in the pits for his first pit stop of the Grand Prix, at 10.1 second stop, so he looks like he'll probably go on the, possibly the 2, he's got 18 laps of fuel, so I think he's probably going to be on the 2 stop, I reckon, as now Miklos Gal comes out of the pits. So it'll be interesting to see which teams decide to go for the 1 stop or the 2 stop. As now Michael Mocho comes down the straight, I should say, as now there's Omar Carr, and then, oh, hang on, Mackenzie's actually got up to 7th. How's that happened? He'd got past, actually, Sean Grant, obviously, he'd overtaken him, but he's also got past Omar Carr as well, so you can see as we're on board with him, he makes a move into the first chicane, and Carr doesn't actually really defend at all. And Jay Mackenzie makes his move up into 7th place, so a good recovery there from Mackenzie. Obviously missed by the cameras, he moved up a couple of positions as we didn't see it, but a good move there by Mackenzie, so he moves up into the points. And now that's Omar Carr, who is stopped right in the middle of the first chicane, so he's obviously had an incident, probably maybe with Mackenzie, I don't know. We shall have a look at the replay, but he drops all the way down to 11th. That's not going to do him dividends, and no, it actually wasn't with Mackenzie, it was actually with Adam Wolf, so he was on the inside, and Carr went actually a bit wide coming through the Parabolica, but almost went on the grass. It's so nearly touching it, but he was right behind Wolf, and they were obviously battling down the straight. So let's see what happens. So Carr was right behind. He had the slipstream. He obviously caught him right at the end. You can see he's gaining, and he's got the speed and power. And Wolf tries to defend on the inside, and you can see there was obviously, unfortunately, going to be contact there, and there was. And Wolf actually went across the track, but he rejoined pretty quickly, so that was lucky for him. As now Jay Mackenzie comes into the pits for his first stop of the race, 15 laps, and also 15 on lap 15, and 15 laps of fuel put in his car as well, so probably a 2 stop for him. 6.9 second stop from Renner, so let's see where he comes out onto the track. He'll come out, looks like he'll come up behind Michael Mocho and behind Roman Krog. I believe there's about, I think, 14 cars or so, I think, still in this race at the moment. As James Willows comes through the Parabolica, comfortably in the lead at the moment, and he goes a bit wide, and he goes on the grass. That's a very scary moment there for James Willows, and fortunately, looks like, does he get away with it? And he just about does. That was nearly a very, very scary crash for Willows. He almost gifted the lead to his brother Joseph, and Joseph Willows, I should say. But fortunately, he stays on the track and he keeps the lead. And now, speaking of Joseph Willows, who I believe has made a pit stop, unless we've missed anything, is moving up past Viggo Holst for 5th place, and he moves up well before the first chicane, actually. And he moves up into 5th place. He's now got Ricky Parker right ahead of him, and now Miklos Gal makes a move on Adam Wolf, goes a little bit wide into the first chicane, but he still completes the move on Wolf fairly comfortably in the end. Now Felix Sonto comes to the pits. Now this is something we haven't seen. He's actually moved right up the order after this first lap chaos. He was actually running in 2nd before he's coming to the pits here, so Sonto could be up for a good order of points, at least a top 5 finish, maybe even a podium. We shall see. It's 25 laps of fuel he's got in, so it looks like he'll be going obviously for the 2 stop. He'll be pitting once more, so he'll pit quite late on in the race. We'll see how that works out for him. So he comes out 13 second stops. It was quite long. Adam Wolf in the pits as well. So he comes out, looks like, just inside the points in 7th or 8th, just ahead or behind of Armagh Carr. Adam Wolf comes into the pits for Williams. Let's see how quickly stop will be. It's a 5 second stop, so 23 laps of fuel there. So he will do the same as Sonto. He'll pit fairly late on. He comes out behind Jay Mackenzie, and he'll come out, I believe, ahead of Roman Quag. So now here is Jay Mackenzie, who is battling with Michael Mocho. Mocho, who's pretty much everyone's enemy in this series, and Mocho tries to defend coming into the Ascari chicane, and he spins, and there was so nearly contact. I was fearing that, because I honestly thought Mocho had made contact there with Mackenzie, but fortunately they actually got away there. I don't know how. It must have been very, very close. Let's have a look at this again on board from Mocho. So he tried to defend from Mackenzie, and he went a bit wide there, and let's have a look at there was so nearly contact. And you can see that was so close. If Mocho was out just any more to the left, he would have caught Mackenzie for sure, and that would have probably been both their races over. But no contact was made, and now Ricky Parker comes into the pits for Sauber. And let's see how quick this stop will be. He's having a good race, does Parker. He got his first points of the season in Spa, having only finished in the points in Australia before that. He'd had a pretty torrid season after comfortably winning the GP2 championship last year, where Franco Gambra at the moment is doing the same. Having won the GP2 race earlier today, he won his third consecutive race in a row, which is actually a record in the GP2, so he could be someone to watch out for potentially for a seat for next year. So now James Willis is coming down through the Parabolica as he now heads on to lap 20. He's got 5 laps of fuel left. He's got a 23-second lead over Southgate. He's so comfortable out there in the moment. Just absolutely strolling this race at the moment. So here is Miklos Gau, who's trying to fight past the Force India of Viggo Holst coming into the Ascari chicane. And Gau, is he going to be on the inside? That's not going to work. And there was contact, and Holst has gone off. Gau has spun. Holst has got back on the track. He's not lost any positions, but for Miklos Gau, that could cost him very, very dearly. Coming in the race, you could just see that was going to happen. It just wasn't going to work there from Gallia. He just tried to make a move that really just wasn't there, and that, unfortunately, that bit of naiveness from Gal could cost him a chance of a podium, maybe even a top 5 in this race. He drops behind Felix Sontag, so that will mean that Sontag will move up a place overall in the order. As Gal now tries to rejoin, but goes into the wall, probably at frustration at the fact that he spun, so he is out of the race. A bit of a problem there, obviously, with his car. So for Gal, any chance of a podium has now been completely extinguished. And now James Willard comes in for his first stop, so it'll be interesting to see. I think he'll probably have to pit one more time, see how much the team fuel him for. 3.9 he's got at the moment, and it's 18, so he will obviously make one more stop around about the lap 40 mark, probably I think just a couple of laps before that, I'd say. Around there, 10.2 second stop for James Willis. He comes out. I believe he might even still come out in the league. He's got such a big gap over Southgate. It's 23 seconds, and actually no, he doesn't. It's not quite. It's obviously needs to be a few seconds more. But Joseph Willows, who just goes past him there on the straight, he'll make a pit stop soon, and Southgate will actually be pitting this lap actually, as James Willows comes out in 3rd place, comfortably ahead of Viggo Holst in 4th. So it's all looking plain sailing, I should say, for James Willis at the moment, and also for Joseph Willis, who's had a pretty quiet race so far, nothing too spectacular. So as now Felix Sontag looks to have made a move, I think, past Viggo Holst, I believe, and Viggo Holst is now trying to attack Southgate coming out the first chicane. It's going to be side by side as they head through the fast right-hander. Hopefully Sontag won't do a Vettel on Alonso in 2011, and he doesn't do so. And he comes through 2012, I think it was actually, and it's still side by side coming through the second chicane, and Holst, I think, has got the position back, and yes, he has. Good battling there between Sontag and Holst, but Holst takes P4 back, but he'll have to pit in a few laps' time. I think he might even try and go to the end of the race. I don't know about that, but we shall see. He might try and do it. I'm not sure at the moment. He's got, I think, about 6 laps of fuel, but he'll pit in probably about 4 or 5, I think. So he'll pit around lap 26, 27, so it'll be around about the halfway mark, but we'll see what the Force India crew decide to do. But Sontag gets back past Holst coming into the Ascari chicane, and that is P4 for Felix Sontag and P5 for Holst. So we'll see if Force India do decide to get into the end. I think it wouldn't be a great strategy if they decided to leave him out this long and just put him on a 2-stop. As now Alex Southgate comes in for his first stop of the race, he'll be fueled for a significant number of laps. He'll pit quite late on. He'll pit with around about 10 laps to go. Probably just over that. So let's see how quick this stop will be for Mercedes. It was an 11.6 second stop. It's fairly slow, to be honest, considering, well, I suppose it was faster than Sontag's. That was only 13 seconds. That was quite slow as well. So let's see where Southgate comes out. He comes out in 7th place. He'll come out behind Jamie McKenzie, but crucially ahead of Michael Mocha, which is what everyone will ideally want to be doing. As now Joseph Willows comes in for his first stop. Will he be going on a 1-stop before the end of the race? I mean, it's just about the halfway mark, just a couple of laps off. So we shall see. He still had 4 laps of fuel in, so he could have gone one more lap or so. And let's have a look, 18 laps. So no, he will not be going to the end. So it looks like everyone is going to be going on the 2-stop strategy, because obviously they don't think they think the tyres will degrade a lot. And probably most likely because it is very, very hot in Italy. It's around about probably mid-20s and pretty high humidity. So I imagine that's probably why the tyres are degrading a lot. So Joseph Willows comes out in P4. He'll come out behind McKenzie, but will he come out ahead of Southgate will be interesting to see. And where is Southgate? And no, Southgate has actually just nipped out in front. So Joseph Willows actually lost out to Southgate there in the pit stop stage. So it looks like it will not be a Willows 1-2 at the moment. I don't actually know who's going to be in 2nd place. It could be either one of the 2 Mercedes. I don't know, to be brutally honest. But McKenzie makes his first stop, and he comes out. As you know, it wasn't his first stop. That was his 2nd stop, I believe, wasn't it? Unless my mind has just completely lost it, but may have done. But he comes in, he's got 19 laps, but he will not make it to the end of it. he will not make it to the end, as he will have to pit one more time. As there's Michael Mocha at the moment in the points, but he'll have to pit soon, as now he is Amar Khan, who will be pitting in 12 laps time, probably less than that, about 10 laps time, for his final stop of the race. He is right behind Sean Grant as he heads into the Roger chicane. He gets the slipstream, he's going to be on the inside as Grant tries to defend, but he's got absolutely no power to defend from Carr, and he makes the move up into 9th place as they head into the 2 Lesmos on lap 28 of this race. Good move there by Carr, as now here we are on board with Sean Grant, who's now trying to overtake Michael Mocho. Almost contact there between the two, and has Sean Grant made the move stick? He went round the outside of the Roger chicane, and it's as he completed the move, and yes he has, Mocho sticks behind. Great move there by the Irishman as they head through the first Lesmo, and they now head into the second Lesmo, as that is a battle for 10th place. Now here is Joseph Willows, who's actually caught up to Alex Southgate, so he's been held up behind Southgate for I believe a few laps now. So he's going to make the move coming into the Ascari chicane, and he makes the move past Southgate, but Southgate doesn't actually bother to defend, as James Willows, his brother, sets the fastest lap of the race, and Southgate almost loses it coming through the Ascari chicane. But Joseph Willows makes the move for 3rd place at the moment. Actually, Sontag, is in 2nd place, so that is very, very impressive. We actually didn't expect that, considering the fact we thought they would be probably around about the top 5, but he's actually done very, very well, Sontag, as his pace is quite good at the moment. But James Willows, I can't speak today, I keep getting between the 2 Willows brothers. They both look the same, so. Sean Grant comes in for his last stop of the race on lap 37. And 20 laps of fuel, so that will be enough for him to get to the end. Let's see where he comes out on track. I imagine he'll finish probably just outside of the top 10. But it's been a good race by Sean Grant so far. Made a decent move on Michael Mocha, so let's see where he'll come out on track. And now Ricky Farquharson comes in for his last stop of the Grand Prix on lap 38. So it looks like Farquharson might get himself some more points on the board for Sauber, which is just what they need, considering they haven't had a particularly great season, with Ren Jans leaving, with Lucas Levi unfortunately being known now as a torpedo to many drivers in the paddock due to his first lap recklessness, as he comes out at 10.1 second stop. And he comes out, and where will he come out? Looks like he will come out just outside the points, and comes out in 8th place. Now Felix Sontag, who was leading the race, comes in for his final stop of the race, and that was, I believe, James Willows just going past on your screen there, just coming down the straight. So that shows the gap that at the moment James Willows has. He's got a huge lead out in front with 13 laps to go as Sontag comes in. So will he come out in 2nd place still? I believe he will, unless Southgate is caught up to him. And let's see how quick this stop will be for Mercedes. And it will be see how long the stop will be. He's fueled to the end as well. It's a 9.6, so that's better for Mercedes, a bit quicker. And so Southgate at the moment is in P2. So he's actually come up behind Southgate, but I believe Southgate will have to pit. And yes, he does actually. He's pitting this lap as now Joseph Willows comes into the pits for his final stop of the race. So let's see where he will come out. So Southgate's in the pits as well, actually. So at the moment, Joseph Willows, I think, might get out in front of Southgate. I'm not sure. So it looks like it'll be a battle for 3rd place here between Willows and Southgate. As there goes Willows, and now Southgate will rejoin. We'll see if he will catch up to him in the last 12 laps. 8.8 seconds. That's a significantly quicker stop for Mercedes. So let's see if he does catch up before the end. And now Jay McKenzie comes in for his final stop on lap 43. 4.5 litres of fuel left, but he'll be fueled to the end. He went quite late, did McKenzie. They probably wished Renault that they could have maybe tried to fuel him to the end of the race. And let's see how quick the stop will be for Renault. 14 laps, so obviously that will be comfortably get him to the end. And let's see how quick the stop will be. And it's an 8.1 second stop. And he will come back out on track. And it looks like he'll come out, I believe, in the top 5, I think. Actually, no, he doesn't. He actually comes out in 7th. This is a battle for 5th place. And McKenzie, speaking of him, is actually right behind us now. Vigor Holst making a move on Amar Khan coming into the first chicane. It's going to be side by side. Is Holst going to make the move? And McKenzie's going to be lying in wait for these two to make a mistake to maybe grab a top 5. And Holst does make the move stick. And he makes it quite late, but he makes it stick. And Cargo is a bit wide there. And that's going to compromise his exit. And now McKenzie's going to be right behind him. He's going to try and make a move coming into the Roger chicane, as McKenzie is running in 7th place at the moment, and he's going to make a move into the final Roger chicane, and it's going to be side by side. Is McKenzie going to make it? It's side by side. Is he going to make a move? And yes, he does, and he makes the move stick. So that is 6th place for McKenzie, and Holst down to 7th. At the moment is actually Ricky Farquharson, who's at the moment in 8th place. As there is James Willis, who's actually about to lap him, so he's already got up to the points. scoring positions, lapping them. As now here is the battle for 10th place once again between Mocho and Grant. Mocho goes slightly wide, and that gives Grant a chance to take 10th place back. This is a good battle. We've only got 4 laps to go of this race. And let's see if Mocho gets back, and he does. He's actually already got back on the inside of Grant, who just seemed to let him go there. And he's going to make the move on the inside, coming into the Parabolica, and it's still going to be side by side. Grant holding around the outside, and he's going to keep the place. What a great racing it is between these two. You wouldn't expect Mocho to do this well in a battle. He's doing great at the moment. There was no contact made there. Mocho's still actually side by side with Grant. Grant, who just doesn't seem to have much power down the straight, side by side as they come into the first chicane. And is Mocho going to get 10th place back? And yes, he does. But now Grant will probably try and make a move back coming into the Roger chicane. He's right behind Mocho. Great battling is between these two. For 10th place, not really for the points, but at least it shows there is a battle going on. As now here is Grant, who's using his curves, and he's now going to move on the inside of Mocho coming into the Roger chicane. Mocho doesn't try and defend. He could have tried to defend a bit more. And Sean Grant takes 10th place back from Mocho, and Mocho now drops a fair bit behind, but he's now got the blue flag behind him. As Felix Sontag is now catching up to these two. So that could, unfortunately, screw up the battle there, as now Jay McKenzie, who's actually caught up to Viggo Holst, they've dropped Armakar by a significant margin, and now McKenzie's going to make a move on Holst coming in for 5th place into the first chicane, and he makes the move stick. Just 3 laps remaining left of this race, and McKenzie moves up to P5. Been a great race so far from McKenzie, recovered well after the first lap where he was held up, and now here is a battle for 11th place between the two Lotuses, Mocho and Quag. Let's hope there isn't a collision between these two. There's been far too many teammate collisions so far this year, and hopefully there isn't going to be another, as obviously Grant has dropped Mocho ahead of him. He's already got into the Ascari chicane, and now Quag's going to try and make a move, but he can't quite do it, as Mocho is just ahead of him as they come through the Ascari chicane, but now Quag is going to have the slipstream as they come into the Parabolica, and Quag moves on the inside. Mocho doesn't bother to try and defend there. It's still side by side, and Quag's surely going to make the move stick coming into the Parabolica, and he does, and that is 11th place for Roman Quag ahead of his teammate Michael Mocho. No collisions there, fortunately, so they got away without any damage at all, which is fortunately a very good thing for both the team and for the drivers, and for everyone else in the championship as well, because it could have caused even more chaos in the field on the last lap of the race. As you can see, we are on the last lap of the race. So at the moment, it is James Willis who is out in front, as the two Lotuses just about sticking to each other there. But here is your race leader, James Willis. He's dominated this race once again. Looks so comfortable out in front. He took the lead on the first lap, and he has never looked back. He's got a 30-second gap over Sontag, 31 seconds to be exact, but a 31-second gap. And James Willis, who just a few races ago didn't look at all in title contention, as he comes around the Parabolica for the final time. James Willis comes through down the pit straight, and James Willis takes his 3rd consecutive victory in the 2011 OC to firmly get his hopes back up for his title challenge. Congratulations to him, as Armakar comes home in 7th place. As Ricky Harkness is going to come home and take 1 point for Sauber. That is exactly what they needed. He comes home in 8th place. Good race by Ricky there. So Alan Wolf is just going to miss out on points as he comes across the line in 9th place. 1 hour and 13 minutes. That was quite a quick race, although Italy usually is a quick race in the dry. Alan Wolf comes home in 9th place. As now we see Felix Sontag, who's going to come round the Parabolic, and he'll take his first podium of the season for Mercedes. That is exactly what he needed. He'd had a pretty tricky season up till now, but this is exactly what he would have needed for a seat at Mercedes for next season. As now Sean Grant comes across the line in 10th, Roman Quag comes across the line in 11th, Mocho comes behind in 12th, and Joseph Willis, comes home to take 3rd place for Ferrari. That's what he needed. As now Southgate is going to come home and take 4th place for Mercedes, just ahead of Robert Ionescu, who we hadn't seen all race after the collision first lap with Thompson. So because he dropped that far back, actually, we hadn't realised, we hadn't actually seen him at all in this race. But now Jamie McKenzie set to come home in 5th place. It's been a good improvement from McKenzie. 4th last time out in Spa, now 5th place, 2 top 5s. So this is going to be very good for Jamie McKenzie, because he comes across the line in P5 with Viggo Holst just behind there in P6, as now McKenzie comes over the line, and now finally Holst comes across the line, and that is the race finished. So that is James Willis' 3rd victory in a row, and that puts him firmly back in title contention. And we will now have a look at the full race results. So James Willis wins, Felix Sontag 2nd, Joseph Willis 3rd, Alex Southgate 4th, Jamie McKenzie 5th, Viggo Holst 7th, Viggo Holst 6th, I should say, Armakar 7th, and Ricky Harkness 8th, with Harkness, Wolf, Grant, Quag, Mocho, and Ionescu all being a lap down, with the following drivers all retiring from this race: Miguel Scow, Wade Cooper, Florian Volker, Evan Byrne, Rella Boych, and George Roke, Sam Thompson, Lucas Levi, and Xavier Quinlan. So now we will have a look at who set the fastest lap of the race, and that was, in fact, of course, James Willis. He took it just ahead of Sontag in second. Gal, who was actually third, chose the pace that he had. Joseph Willis fourth, Mackenzie fifth, Southgate sixth, Hulse seventh, Carr eighth, Kuba ninth, Quag actually in 10th. That's quite interesting there. Wolf 11th, Farquharson 12th, Grant 13th, Ionescu 14th, obviously off the pace after that collision. Early on, Mocho in 15th, Roke in 16th, although following drivers, Roke, Moichin, Byrne, Volkert, Levi, Thompson, and Quinlan, obviously all involved in various incidents in the first couple of laps. So as you can see on the bottom right of your screen, I should say, Volkert actually got a 5-place grid penalty for the incident at the chicane between Evan Byrne and himself. So that means that could be very interesting in the title race come the next race in Singapore. But anyway, the driver standings. So Volker currently still in the lead, ahead of Byrne by 3 points, I should say, with James Willers now just 7 points behind Volker and just 4 points behind Byrne. Now that could be very interesting indeed. James Willers in 4th on 53, Waste Cooper 5th with 52. They're still probably just about in it. Migos Gal is now officially out the title race, I would say, with that retirement in Italy. Southgate is in 7th, Viggo Holst 8th, Felix Sontag 9th, and Jim McKenzie completing the top 10, just ahead of his teammate Roke, also with 16. Cart running in 12th with 13 points, Moitin 13th, beating Inescu 14th, Annawal 15th, Renz Jans 16th, with Farquharson 17th, Quag 18th, Grant 19th, and Levi 20th, with Thompson, Quinnan, and Mocho scoring no points so far this season. So in the Constructors, McLaren just 19 points behind Red Bull, who are just 3 points ahead of Ferrari in the Constructors, with a massive gap, a 51-point gap to Mercedes in 4th, who are in turn 16 points ahead of Force India, who are just 6 points ahead of Renault, who are 11 points ahead of Toro Rosso in 7th, and Sauber 8th with 12, Williams 9th with 5, Lotus 10th with 3, and Virgin 11th with 2. And that has been the Italian Grand Prix. I hope you guys enjoyed the race. Don't forget to, as usual, vote for your driver of the day and give the race a rating out of 10. So thank you very much for watching, everyone, and we will see you for the next round of the Singapore Grand Prix at Marina Bay under the lights. Grazie!